So this is what it's like every morning when I come into North Central High School. So right now, we're going to take a little trip through the halls of NC. So right now, we're passing into the art department, which we'll come back to later, but these are the stairs that I take every morning. And we are headed into what we used to call the Social Studies department, but is now the Humanities department. And we're going up stairs to the second floor. So really this hallway here, A hall, is the World Language hallway. We're going to come back to my room at the end, room A526. So all of A hall and part of J belong to World Language. Now let's take a stop here in our World Language library and see what we've got. So our World Language library, a study room for students as well. Lots of books, and certainly lots of old Latin books. So coming down through the World Language hallway, we have 7 languages at North Central. Our computer lab to the left, and our World Language office, where of course we can have lunch. We have another little study room where I've often met with students. And in years past, we used to have department meetings in this room. Here's our department chair's office, our mailboxes, and some of our storage area with, of course, more Latin books. And one of the things we're going to notice, a lot of books fill this building. And again, even more Latin books. People keep giving me books. Teachers who retire give me their libraries, and so they all seem to end up here. So continuing down the World Language hallway, and these doors are the back side of the library. We'll take a look at the library here in just a moment. This is another hallway for World Language. Again, I mentioned 7 languages. We have Japanese and Chinese, Hebrew and German, French, Spanish, and of course, Latin. who is that centurion up on the wall? Looks like he's paid a visit to us from ancient Rome. And this is the half of that hallway we saw just a moment ago, ending right here with the end of world language and then going on into English. Right, so let's go back the way we came and head toward the Student Center. Obviously, this is a day when students are not in the building. Otherwise, we would have nearly 4,000 students coursing through these halls. So our Student Center is upper and lower. So we're starting off here in the upper Student Center. Often we have decorations and signs, and right now we've got a big display of student strengths, things that really make our students strong. And we're looking out over the lower Student Center and the auditorium, which we will take a look at when we go downstairs, but we can see that shot from here on the second floor. Of course, here are the valedictorians and salutatorians since North Central began back in 1956, and even up to our most recent salutatorian. We've had Latin students, so Jane there, Sophie was a Latin student, Eric Feeney was one of our Latin students. In fact, he was state IJCL president. And this year we had both the valedictorian and the salutatorian, Maya Jenkins and Reagan Quilling. And Millie Kripe, Elise Johnson. These are all students that I've been fortunate to have. Anna Bach, Mike Mahoney, Laura Marcus, Phoebe Chang, Russ Ryan, Katie Bohard, and so forth, going all the way back to the beginning of North Central, and our first valedictorian, Judy Mitchell, in 1958. So we continue through the upper Student Center here, and we're going to turn right and move out into what we call the upper atrium. This is an area for students to study, students to gather, and oh, look at that, our Alumni Hall of Fame. Many great Panthers have gone on to do many, many wonderful things. One right there is Mitch Daniels, now the president of Purdue University and former governor of Indiana. Kenneth Babyface Edmonds, and so many others down through the years. Inventors, leaders of industry and government, and we're proud of all of them. Now, we head into the upper area of our library. We now call it an information center because it's more than just a library. Of course, a library indicates books, from the Latin liber, meaning book, but we've got lots of computing services now, and this is also a two-level facility. We've got our upstairs, a lot of research materials up here. And then if we were to go downstairs, we would go down into the stacks and the other computing areas. So let's go downstairs. And sure enough, here are our library stacks. And our librarians are just media specialists are coming in for the day. And of course, desks are all set up, spread out because of COVID and our special seating arrangements that we've had to have. But again, lots and lots of books, lots and lots of computers, many great resources here at North Central. All right, so let's go back upstairs and continue our tour of the second floor of North Central. Obviously, North Central is a very large building. I mentioned we have nearly 4,000 students, a couple hundred faculty members. So we have to have a large building to house all of these people. So we'll go back out through the upper part of the information center and we'll head back toward the upper atrium. Now we'll take a quick look downstairs and then we will be downstairs later. But when you come into North Central, this is the main area where you would come in. We're just above it here, but you can see the front doors. And looking down into the lower atrium of the school. Again, we'll check that out here in a moment. Got this big ramp to come up and of course an elevator. All right, so as we continue through the upper atrium here, or the terrace I should call it, we move now to a really important area, our Learning Center. Our Learning Center has tutoring opportunities and testing opportunities, and I love this map that we've got because it really shows how many different places our students come from. We have students from Mexico, Thailand, Congo. We have 806 students that says who speak a language other than English. Top 4 languages other than English. We see are Spanish, Kaya Kareni, Karen, and Arabic. And you can see on the map where all of our students who are not from the United States, where they come from. So very diverse population here at North Central. So our Learning Center is a very important part of who we are. M is for math, and so this is part of our math hallway. Of course, we've got more than one hallway for math since everyone has to take math. And it's appropriate that math would be close to the science hallway. So we're coming up this little ramp here to science. And sure enough, here we are, one of our assistant principals' offices here, and all the way down this hallway is science. As the song says, she blinded me with science.
She blinded me with science. She blinded me with science.
Of course, we've got biology, chemistry, physics, earth science, and we prepare students for AP exams, for the IB, International Baccalaureate Diploma, all through here. And yes, everybody has to take science, so there's going to be even more science hallways downstairs. So we're coming around now, still in the upper floor. We've kind of made a full circuit, or we turned the corner, I should say, of the second floor of the building. And coming right into here, we've got to look into our gymnasium. Yes, the big North Central Gymnasium, home to the Panthers. You see the big NC in the seats, and many, 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 many awards, athletic awards. We're going to see music awards later. With a school as big as North Central, that's been in existence as long as North Central has, we've had many, many students achieve many, many things. And here is indeed even more of our trophies. If I look back here to the left, here is another angle of that math hallway that we were talking about. And oh my goodness, there's Winnie the Pooh and Bugs Bunny, as we're learning about making things larger, changing their size through mathematics. So yes, our awards go on and on and on and on. Wait a minute, there are more on the other side of the hallway too. And more and more and more. North Central has such a long and storied tradition of academic excellence, of sports excellence, music excellence. And now we are headed into Upper English hallway. Of course, this has got to be a big area. Everyone takes English, one of those core classes. One of our many computer labs. And we have English going all the way down this hallway. We have English going down this hallway. And even English turning on C hallway. So lots and lots of English classes. Of course, this is our home to yearbook and our newspaper, the Northern Lights. Another English hallway. Many of the great authors that our students read. And we're looking now back down toward the foreign language hallway, but this is also English on this end. So we're going to go back this way. And this is that long English hallway that we were just in. Now, as we come up this way, we're headed towards H for History, or H for Humanities, which we call it now. This is government and econ, history, geography. Notice all the flags in the hallway. Again, this is another large department. In fact, this hallway even has rooms off the hallway because we need so many classrooms for so many students. So this is where we came up initially, the initial set of stairs. Again, the humanities department. We hear a few teachers starting to come into the building this morning. And we're coming now down to part of the art department. We will come back there in just a moment. This is the first floor, so lower A hall. This is directly below where the world language classes are. We have some English here. We have special education here, including down part of this hallway as well. And lower A is going to take us into the area of the lower student center and the cafeteria. I get to see where the students eat. Now, this is going to look a little bit different because of the way things are set up for when we've had the hybrid learning. But there is one of our many front doors, and we are now headed out toward the cafeteria and the lower student center. As we turn left, we see toward the area of the bookstore, and this is our cafeteria. Normally it would have tables and chairs, not desks. But these are set up for social distancing for the seating. We have the senior cafeteria there in the back. Of course, the seniors don't want anybody to crowd on their turf. And we have even had seating out here in the lower student center. Again, this would not normally be the case, but it's only because of the hybrid. Pictures of our student athletes and student life, and some of the values that define who Panthers are. This is the lower level of our information center or library. And now we're looking at our auditorium. We really do have a wonderful auditorium and a fabulous performing arts department. Of course, we have the big Panthers in the glass cases guarding everything and keeping it safe. Moving through the lower student center here, we have our counseling office, guidance counselors. Many of them are here, although others have their offices throughout the building. And evidence of classical learning right here on our wall from Plato. The direction in which education starts a man will determine his future life. It's a good quotation from Plato there. So we've got our guidance through there, our main hallway leading to the main front door. I say we've got multiple front doors, but that's leading to our main front door, and where we recognize our teachers of the year and our retirees. And we come out here into the main atrium where everybody who first comes to North Central gets their first look at this magnificent school. So if we're coming in from here, if we go to the right, we see the main office.
Good morning.
And we'll go back now through the student center and move on into the rest of the building. As we look down this hallway, we'll be headed toward performing arts. Again, more pictures of student life here at NC. Very important room for the teachers. This is our teacher mailboxes where we get important information. And Panthers in the news. We love to celebrate the things that our students do. Headed down this hallway, we've got our health office and dean's offices. And we're now coming back to the lower area of science. Upstairs in was science, and downstairs in. And we'll see these display cases for students of the month. We like to honor top students in every department every month for displaying one of our key Panther qualities. So lower N, and this again is science.
She blinded me with science. She blinded me with science. She blinded me with science. She blinded me with science. She blinded me with science. She blinded me with science.
This, even more athletic awards. We see IHSAA individual state champion and team championships, and even more as we come through this area. As I said, school has been around since 1956 and seen the thousands of students that we have. We have many, many awards. Going back down some math in that area. And as we get ready to pass out of all the athletic awards, we're getting ready to head into performing arts. There we go, back toward the front office again. We are actually on the back side now of the auditorium. And now we're going to performing arts. And you will notice this hallway is simply lined on both sides with music awards, individually and collectively. We have award-winning choirs, bands, orchestras. Our drama department puts on many plays and musicals, and they are all of fantastic quality. Coming back now into even more athletic awards. Oops, that's a bell. I guess it would be time for class if students were actually in the building. Coming back now to a second gym of ours, the South Gym. You can see a little bit into it. And now we're into our performing arts area and a smaller auditorium that we call the Performance Arts Classroom. More of our awards. And yes, our mirrored hallway where the dancers can practice and see themselves as they are practicing. We head down here, again, more of our awards, and headed to our other small auditorium. And if we go through these doors, we are headed towards our natatorium. Of course, coming from the Latin, nato natare, meaning to swim. More of our athletic recognition. And here is our natatorium. This is an amazing facility, redone a few years ago, and it is absolutely first rate. And our main athletic office. All right, let's go back through athletics, see a little bit more of performing arts and the rest of the first floor. Okay, coming back through the area behind the smaller auditorium, the Performing Arts Classroom. And yet another hallway for performing arts. Performing arts is really important at North Central. We even have separate practice rooms, as you might have at a university, for students to work on their individual instruments. And what is that? More awards lining both sides of the hallway. Again, North Central Performing Arts has a long tradition of success and excellence. Coming out now at the back of our main auditorium, so announcements for the stage crew. Headed towards the cafeteria and the faculty dining area. And as we come along this side, we see our custodial area and all the people that make North Central run. Our cafeteria workers, our wonderful, wonderful custodial staff, and building maintenance. And we're going to end up now in the art department. Our art department is, and we're talking about graphic arts now, not performing arts. The graphic arts are simply phenomenal at North Central. From 2D and 3D art, computer art, painting, drawing, photography, pottery and jewelry. Our art teachers are skilled artists themselves, able to lead our students in discovering the creative sides of their personality. We'll come back around to yet another part of our art department as we come back here and go to the right. This piece was actually done by one of our seniors many years ago, a self-portrait. There would be much more displayed if we had students in session. We'd see a lot more art on the walls. And this area back here leads back to the J. Everett Light Career Center, where our students can take career classes, automotive, cosmetology, radio, television, and many more, and not just North Central students, but students from all the surrounding counties. All right, we'll head back, and this is actually the stairs that I used to take every morning when I was in a different classroom. We'll head back up, and we'll end the tour with the Latin classroom. So we are back into part of the English hallway, part of world language, headed toward world language. And this was my first room at North Central for 6 years, room J626. But most of the time, I've been in Upper A Hall, which is our next stop. So here we go, A526. This is where all the magic happens. Now, I haven't had the room set up in rows really ever until the time of the hybrid learning, when we had to be spaced out 6 feet apart in terms of where the students sit. But starting over on this wall, we see all of the ribbons and awards that students have won at the State Latin Convention, held every year in the spring. And our ribbons have even now gone onto the back wall, as the students have been very, very successful. Coming back around now, of course, we have our front bookcases. One of our Roman soldiers, whose armor I was fortunate to get with a grant thanks to the Lilly Foundation. We have our movie posters, all related to the ancient world. Of course, more and more books all the way around the room, and lots of student pictures. Our other Roman centurion back here guards the other corner of the room. We have posters and pictures, many of which have been given to the room from former students. These pictures of students you see along here are students who are recognized in the top 25 of their senior class, or top athletes. And of course, we couldn't have a picture of this classroom without looking at the ceiling. Yes, our seniors over the years have painted ceiling tiles, seniors in the AP Latin classes, and they painted scenes from mythology and Roman history, and stories from their book. And that all adds to the wonderful fun that we have in this room and at North Central High School.